Welcome back to How to Family Tree, where we help you build your family tree, connect to your ancestors, and discover who you are. My name is Elder McNatt, and in today's episode, we're going to go over the basics of indexing. Indexing is the process by which someone types up the information found on a historical document and puts it on a website so that it can be searchable later. There are many reasons why you should index. First of all, it helps other people. Without indexing, searching for records would be incredibly difficult. Also, it helps you understand how to read sources and better understand the nature of human error in the indexing process. And lastly, it gives you something simple to do if you're afraid you're going to mess up your own family line or if you just don't know what to do to continue. At first, indexing may seem boring or tedious, but over time and with a little effort, indexing can become a very valuable experience for you. Here's a story about how indexing has blessed Sister Guerra in her family history work.
When I was in college, a group of friends decided to challenge all of us to do indexing, and whoever did the most would win pizza at the end. At first, it started out for the pizza, but at the end I realized that indexing brings so much joy. I was able to learn about cultures, I was able to learn about history, and most importantly, connect the family tree. So I found a lot of joy from this simple, easy thing, and it's helped me get started with my family history.
Thank you so much, Sister Guerra. To get started, go to FamilySearch.org, click on Indexing, then click Web Indexing, and you'll be brought to this main page. The next step is to find a batch. And a batch is a group of 1 to 10 images of historical documents. To find a batch, click Find Batches, and you'll be brought to this list of all available collections. Look through them, find a project that you like, then click Index. For this first example, we'll be looking at immigration records in Texas. The first thing to do when you get to a new project is to read the project instructions. The project instructions will show you what to index, some examples for where you'll find that information, things to remember while indexing that collection, and any additional information you'll need. The first thing that you'll record is whether or not the image should be indexed. If an image is completely blank or there's no information that you can read on it, you'll select No Extractable Data. If an image is a duplicate of another one in the batch, you'll click Duplicate, but otherwise you'll just select Yes. Once you've answered that question for all of the images in the batch, you'll be brought back to the first image to put in all the information. The first piece of information that this asks for is the surname, which is Martinez Garza. Then it asks for the given names, which is Sophia, so we'll type that information in. Next, it asks for the birth year. Now, the birth year is not recorded on this document, so instead of just leaving the field blank, we're going to mark it blank. To do that, click on this button or type in Control B. Next, it asks for the age, which is 32. Then it asks for the sex, which is F, meaning female. Something to remember while indexing is if you don't know what to do for a specific field, click on the purple question mark next to it, and that will give you field help, which is specific direction for how to provide that information. For nationality, it's recorded as Mex, which you could assume is Mexican, but the field help says to not correct misspellings or expand abbreviations. And so we're just going to type it in as Mex. Then it asks for the arrival year, which is 1944. So we've just completed our first image. This next image is a little less pretty than the last one, but we're going to try our best. We can see that the surname is Ortiz and the given name is Sophia. So we'll type that information in. Again, the birth year isn't recorded, so we'll mark that field as blank. Now for the age, I can't read that. So we're going to try to modify the image to see if we're able to read that more clearly. To do that, click on this button, and from there you can either invert the colors of the image, you can adjust the brightness and contrast of the image, or rotate it left or right. Again, I still can't read it, so we're going to mark the field as unreadable. To do that, click on this button, or type in Control U. Next field is sex, so we'll type in F, and then for the nationality, again, I can't read that, and so we'll mark that field as unreadable. And the immigration year is 1935. An important principle to remember while indexing is that you shouldn't assume information. For example, in one of the next images, the sex is not listed. Now, the given name is Sophia, and generally, Sophia is a feminine name. However, the project instructions tell us not to assume the sex based off of the name, and so we're going to mark that field as blank. Once you've entered the information for every image, press Submit Batch. Then FamilySearch will do a quality check, which means they're going to make sure every field is filled out, and they're going to see if any information is absurdly incorrect. For example, if you put someone's birth year as the year 2937, then it's going to let you know that that's probably not correct. The next batch we're going to look at is a marriage index. Again, read the project instructions and then answer if this image should be indexed. As you see, this batch is a lot different than the last one because there are a lot of names on it, but only one image. For this, first fill out all the information for the first name that you find, and then at the bottom, click Create Entry 2. For records like this, it can be easier to fill it out if you change the entry format. To do that, click Data Entry, and you can click on Table Entry, and that will look like this. Another option is the column entry, which is what we'll be using to fill out this example. The next thing we'll do is add in the remaining entries. To add multiple entries at once, click on this button, then type in how many entries you want, then click Add. From there, we're just going to type in all the certificate numbers going down the column. Fill in the remaining information like this. There are times where information will be the same across multiple people. For example, there are many people with the same marriage year. For that, you can either press this button or type Control D, and it will copy the field above it. Also, there are times where everyone will have the same information. For example, the marriage place is the same. So for that, you can either press this button or Alt-Shift-D, and it will copy to all of the fields. Once again, once you've put in all the information for the batch, click Submit Batch. We're going to go over one more example. For this record, it's a little bit difficult to read. And so if you're ever in this situation and you don't feel comfortable reading a project, then you can simply click Batch, then Return Batch, and it'll send it back to the database for someone else to index. If you ever get stuck or don't know what to do next, click Help, then click Indexing Help, and you'll be brought to the Indexing Help Center. This has loads of helpful resources and information for how to solve most problems that you'll encounter while indexing. Now, of course, if you're not able to find your answer there, then feel free to reach out to us on our Facebook page, and you can get connected with us and we can help you one-on-one. Next week, we'll show you how research suggestions can help guide your family history research. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time, where we'll help you build, connect, and discover.